joining me here on Taya's Sweet Aroma. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the recipe for my corn chowder. This is one of my favorite soup recipes to make because I really love corn. I use frozen sweet corn for this recipe and I prefer it over the canned corn, but if canned corn is all that you have on hand, you can go ahead and substitute it for the frozen corn. During like the summer and the fall months when fresh corn is available, I will substitute the fresh corn for the frozen corn. And the only thing that you want to adjust if you decide to use fresh corn is the cooking time. Normally I add the frozen corn at the very end when the potatoes are done cooking, and it gives them just enough time to heat through and to thaw and heat through. But if I'm using the fresh corn, what you want to do is you want to add it in when the potatoes are about halfway done cooking, because they're going to take, the fresh corn is a bit harder and it's going to take a bit more time to cook through. So that's about the only difference, is just the cooking time. Now the other thing I'm going to be using for this recipe is my homemade chicken stock, and I'm going to be taking that chicken and using it along with some leftover Italian bread that I made from the other day, and I'm going to make some chicken and cheese paninis to serve alongside the soup tonight for dinner. So this soup is great to serve with sandwiches. It's great to serve pretty much with any chicken, whether it's fried or baked. It's good just to serve on its own because it's a really filling soup from the potatoes and the mushrooms. And aside from that, one other thing I did want to point out is that you want to make sure that you dice all of your veggies really small, almost the size of the corn. You just getting everything nice and small will allow for each spoonful to have a bit of everything in it, which makes it even better. The only thing I don't dice up small is the mushrooms. I like to slice those, that way you can see them just kind of hanging out in the soup. So anyhow, as soon as I am done getting all the veggies prepped and moving someone out of the way, I'm noticing now as I keep doing more and more recipes that it's like he hears me talking and he'll look and he sees the camera going and everything, and he always makes his way in here now. So it's kind of like a little alarm for him, I guess. So anyhow, I'm gonna finish getting everything prepped, move him out the way, and then we will go over the ingredients. The ingredients you're gonna need for this recipe is some frozen sweet corn, yellow potatoes, chicken stock, all-purpose flour, heavy whipping cream, onion, peppers. For the seasonings, I have some kosher salt, cayenne pepper, black pepper, bay leaf. I also have some minced garlic, some baby bella mushrooms, and some thick cut bacon. To my pot over a medium-high heat, I'm gonna add in my bacon, give it a stir. The bacon has now had a chance to fully cook through. It's nice and crispy. I'm gonna go ahead and remove it from the pot and into a bowl that has been lined with a paper towel to help absorb some of that extra fat from the bacon. This bacon, I'm gonna go ahead and sit it aside and save it as the topping for the soup. Now to the remaining oil, I'm gonna add in the onions and peppers. Give them a stir. My onions have gotten nice and translucent, so I'm gonna go ahead and add in the mushrooms, those stirred in. The mushrooms have had a chance to soften up nicely, so I'm gonna go ahead and add in the garlic. Cook this for about 30 seconds in with the rest of the veggies. After 30 seconds, you wanna sprinkle over your flour and stir it in and allow the flour to cook in with the veggies for about a minute. It's gonna absorb any of the remaining fat, but also help to thicken up the soup as it's cooking. It's important to allow that flour some time to cook so that way it gets rid of that raw flour taste. Now, as I'm adding in my chicken stock, I'm gonna be stirring the veggies around. So add in a bit, get it stirred in, and just keep adding as I'm going. Now I'm gonna add in my potatoes along with the seasonings and give everything a stir. My soup has now come to a boil. You can see how nice and thick this broth is starting to get. What I'm gonna do now is cover it with the lid. All you're trying to do at this stage is cook the potatoes fully through. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes. After about 10 minutes, I say give a potato a try. You want it to still have a bite to it, not be super mushy. And once they get to that stage, I will show you the next step. So I'm gonna cover it with the lid and turn the heat down to a medium-low and allow it to finish cooking. My potatoes have had a chance to fully cook through. So I'm gonna go ahead and add in the corn. Give it a quick stir. Finally, you wanna add in your cream. You don't wanna add it in too early, just right at the end. Now I'm gonna serve some up. Top it with a few of the crunchy bacon bits. Finally, I like to top the soup, like I do most soups, with a little extra fresh pepper. But before I forget, I forgot to mention this earlier. I'm always forgetting to mention something, but if you're making your stock from scratch as I did, something else you can do with that chicken is you can chop it into bite-sized pieces and make yourself a chicken and corn chowder. And what you want to do is add the chicken at the last minute when you're adding in the corn. Just give it a chance to heat through. Don't add it in at the very beginning because then it can cause the chicken to get a bit dry. So right as you're adding in the corn would be a good time to add that in. Gonna give this a taste. Smells so good. Get some more of this broth. It's amazing how in just that short amount of time you get so much flavor. Everything's cooked nicely. You get a little bite from those bacon bits on the top. If you wanted to kick it up a bit, you can add in a jalapeno to spice it up, or just add in a bit more of the cayenne pepper. The corn is just nice and sweet. And if you make this during the summertime and the fall time, as I was saying earlier, that fresh sweet corn just makes it even better. You got to give this recipe a try. I'll be sure to include down in the description box below a link to my blog where you can find this written recipe as well as the written recipe for my chicken stock. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, I hope to see you again next time. Bye.